Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the Georgia Lottery. Get a nice hit of cash with a new hit family of scratchers from the Georgia Lottery. And by Rooms to Go. Shop a huge selection of beautiful rooms, all $999 or less.
We're getting you ready for game 1 of 3 against the Detroit Tigers. Atlanta is looking for their 21st win of the season. Welcome into our set outside the battery. Nick Green alongside Peter Moylan. And Peter, things are constantly shifting and moving as far as rosters are concerned, bullpens are concerned, around Major League Baseball every single day. It's happening for the Braves today. Let's take a look at our Comcast Business Defend the Mound feature. This is what's going on with that bullpen right now. Dylan Lee just got placed on the paternity list. Didier Fuentes recalled from Gwinnett. And Reynaldo Lopez moved to the bullpen. Peter, I think you look at the two guys on the back end of this graphic, Didier and Reynaldo. I kind of like these moves.
Look, Reynaldo's obviously dealing with something at the moment, something mechanical. We saw him deal with something mechanical at the end of spring training. I think this is a great opportunity for him to go to the bullpen, somewhere he's very familiar, and work on his mechanics and get himself back to where he needs to be. As far as Didier Fuentes is concerned, I mean, this kid has proved that he can get it done over multiple innings. He's got a big-time fastball, big-time breaking ball. I think those two will play really, really well in this bullpen. I'm not sure how long he's going to be there for, but while he's there, he's going to be a weapon.
I'm curious to see how this all shakes out for the Braves as they move forward, but right now, that is what's going on in the bullpen. It's not all about pitching, Peter. There are a couple of pretty good catchers in this series as well. Wiley Ballard's going to talk some Drake Baldwin and Dylan Dingler next.
Drake Baldwin crushes this to right field, and it is gone.
As that ball is crushed by Dingler.
Forget about it. It's another Baldwin bomb.
This ball is out of here.
Dylan Dingler. Drake Baldwin strikes yet again.
Every dinger is a Dylan Dinger.
That one's not coming back. Drake rakes.
Well, we all know across the catching position in Major League Baseball's history, that's been a position where you focus on the defense and anything offensively you get is icing on the cake. Well, for Drake Baldwin and Dylan Dingler, those guys are delivering icing, sprinkles, whipped cream, everything. Those guys are weapons in the batter's box. Take a look at our truest leaderboards. Dylan Dingler, as you can see, top 10 among all Major League catchers in each of these categories. Drake Baldwin is top 5. So let's discuss both of these guys. First, Drake Baldwin for the Braves. You saw where the metrics rank. The bottom line is the guy can go line to line with power to his pull side from the left side. And on top of this, he's crushing balls outside the strike zone as well, hitting it for an extremely high average when it comes to pitches outside the strikes. Now, on the Dylan Dingler side of things, his numbers aren't going to jump out to you as much. When you look at his expected batting average, that's among the top 5% in all of Major League Baseball. Same with the slugging percentage. So I know we've talked a lot about the starting pitching matchups in this series, but keep an eye on the backstops as they can impact the game both offensively and defensively. We've got a great matchup in store for you tonight. Braves and Tigers, the series opener. The Tigers in first place in the Central. The Braves, they haven't lost a series all year. And when we come back, Martin Perez takes the mound as we get things going. Interleague action on a Tuesday night at Truist Park.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Destin Fort Walton Beach, Florida. By Yellowwood brand pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. And by Xfinity, reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. Folks, filing in through the battery and into Truist Park. There is Mackenzie Carpenter. She's going to say play ball tonight here at Truist Park. She's a country musician and a songwriter, going to be part of Braves Country Fest on June 13th. And after she gives us the go-ahead, it'll be time for game 1 of the series between the Tigers and the Atlanta Braves.
Don't forget about the acoustic post-game concert as well for Mackenzie Carpenter. Where's that going to be again? The what plaza? Somewhere. They just told me and I forgot immediately.
Georgia Power Pavilion is where that's going to be.
There we go.
So Martin Perez is going to take the mound for the Atlanta Braves tonight. His 6th appearance overall, his 4th start. You kind of were saying it in the open, CJ. He's been that guy that so far has done whatever the Braves have needed him to do.
At this point in his career, there is no ego for Martin Perez. What can I do to help? What can I do to win? We look forward to this start tonight. I think the Braves probably line this up because the Tigers have struggled against left-handed pitching.
Racetrack lineup for the Detroit Tigers. You mentioned the struggles against lefties. All in all, because they've hit righties really well. They're right in the middle of most of the offensive stats in Major League Baseball. CJ, before we get to first pitch, it is time for your Ford Keys, sir.
How about the El Cambio? The changeup for Martin Perez is such an important pitch, and he's not afraid to throw it to lefties. The 4th highest rate left on left with his changeup. And you got to defend the South. No, not what you're thinking about. We're talking about the bottom of the strike zone. Casey Mize on the other side tonight for the Detroit Tigers has got a really good split and a slider. He wants you to chase those below the zone. You try not to do that tonight, you got yourself a win.
Braves 20 wins on the season, tied with the Dodgers for the most in baseball. And even though Detroit is 15-14 right now, just a game over 500, they do have a half-game lead on Cleveland. So they are also in first place in the American League Central. A.J. Hinch, 6-year as a manager there, 3 years under 500, last 2 years into the playoffs, although they limped into the playoffs last year, blowing a 14.5 game division lead.
Thanks in part to the Atlanta Braves, who swept them.
There's Mackenzie Carpenter saying, let's play ball.
Yeah, she got the red carpet treatment as well. It was our own little kind of on-deck circle.
But yeah, the Braves went up there late September last year, swept the Tigers. It was part of their tailspin heading in to the postseason.
They play heavy platoon baseball in Detroit. We saw it last year and somewhat similar again this year.
Both teams off yesterday, rested, ready to go on a Tuesday night. And Perez missing inside 1-0. 65 degrees. Had a lot of rain this morning in the Atlanta area, but spotty showers now, so hopefully okay. Ozzie, long way to go. A pirouette, and he fires and gets Jahmai Jones.
A great play by Ozzie. You can see the way that the defense was lined up with Jones, a right-handed hitter, not expecting him to go this way, but there's Ozzie ranging, spinning, and taking just that half a second to collect himself to make sure he can make an accurate throw.
Olsen with a stretch at first base. And Jones is retired, and now Gleyber Torres.
Well, Drake thought about it right there, and he's like, man, can I challenge on the 3rd pitch of the game? I'd like to, but he decided against it.
Home plate umpire tonight is the crew chief, the veteran Alan Porter.
He's been on a good run. This is a guy that ranks really well, 6th best in baseball going back to the beginning of last year when you look for the accuracy in Alan Porter. The thing I don't like for the Braves tonight, he has a tendency to get a little bit down in the zone. And again, you got a split finger, so that works well for Casey Mize.
Slow roller to Riley. And a couple of ground outs for the Tigers to start things here in the first. Racetrack defense for the Braves. You got Yaz, Harrison, Acuna in the outfield. Riley Dubon, Albies, Olsen 3rd to 1st, and Drake Baldwin the battery for Perez. Wiley did a great report on the 2 catchers in tonight's ball game. You're going to see a couple of good ones in Baldwin and Dylan Dingler on the other side for the Tigers. 2
guys absolutely emerging in this game as kind of the all-around package that you get from a catcher. We know we get to see Drake Baldwin every night, how special he is, and Dingler emerging as well. He's a good player.
Speaking of guys that are emerging, Kevin McGonigal at the plate is a good one, and he sends this pretty deep to center. But the ballpark holds it, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Martin Perez. Racetrack, whatever gets you going. By Southeast Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. And also by Georgia Power. Score big savings at georgiapower.com/tips. Truist Park on a Tuesday night. Phil Niekro out there. And Ronald Acuna Jr. stepping to the plate. And the lineup is brought to you by Racetrack. Baldwin and Olson behind him, the top three that Casey Mize will face here in the first. Casey Mize, former #1 overall pick in 2018, and off to a good start this year.
He is, and it's a free agent year, so he picked the right time to what has been so far the best start to his career in any single year. You can see the big strikeouts there, 32 of them. Most of them do come on that split finger.
Ronald Acuna jumps on the first pitch and laces it off the wall and left. And he's into second base, sliding with a leadoff double for the Braves.
When you know a guy's got a dominant split finger, the best way to hit it is to not miss the fastball. Two-seam fastball here to Ronald. The fastballs have been a problem. Casey Mize has both the two-seamer and the four-seamer. The numbers against both of them are pretty big. And as soon as Ronald saw one, he jumped all over.
Great start for Atlanta. 6th double this year for Acuna. So at the top of this inning, Perez retired him in order, only threw 7 pitches. Now the Braves right away. Acuna on second base, and up comes Drake Baldwin.
And probably not that surprising, maybe to the extremes, but there are some pretty distinct splits that you get from Casey Mize. Lefties are only hitting 131, and the righties 349. That is significant. You're talking about, what is that, better than 200 and... Didn't I learn about doing math? About the 218, maybe, I think. Big difference.
I'm not going to try. Tapper back to the mound. It is an out, but Acuna over to third. Racetrack defense for A.J. Hinch's Detroit Tigers. Green, Baez, Vierling. Of course, Baez, longtime infielder, all-star as a center fielder last year. Lee over at third, McGonigal, the talented young rookie shortstop, Torres and Torkelson, and then Dingler, as we talked about, behind the plate.
Interesting defense they have here. Middle of the road when you look at the total errors, but the outs above average, the Statcast number, they're dead last at a -16.
Bringing the infield in here with a runner on third and one away in the first. Matt Olson had a 3-run homer in the Braves 6-2 win over the Phillies on Sunday, last time out. So now 8 homers, 25 driven in for Olson this year.
We know that Matt Olson has pounded the fastball this year. You get this situation and he goes slider, split, slider. He has stayed away from the heater so far.
And Matt hasn't offered yet. 3-0 pitch. 4 misses from Casey Mize, and the runners are at the corners. So I know it's easier said than done, but it sounds like you're saying, CJ, be careful with his splitter and his slider and attack the fastball if you can.
If you see it in the strike zone, go after it, and then it's the ability to recognize the split. Very difficult to do. Only about 1 out of every 3 are actual strikes. The rest of them fall below the zone. It is one of the best pitches in baseball if you can throw it well. There's a lot of high chase, and that's where the strikeout comes.
Mize didn't have much interest in facing Olson. He goes after Ozzie with a fastball that Ozzie fouls away. Ozzie out in front of that splitter. 0-2. So Casey Mize, the #1 pick in 2018. He is a native of Springville, Alabama, played at Auburn, so he is very familiar with this part of the country and the Atlanta Braves. He grew up watching this team just a couple hours from here in his childhood home. He pitched here in 2024. He faced the Braves last year in Detroit. Now this is the 3rd time he has faced Atlanta in his career. 1-2, and he gets Ozzie with the slider.
Well located here, backdoor slider that probably would have caught the strike zone on the corner, and Ferrazzi, you can't let it go by, and almost looked like he was just trying to maybe foul it off or flip it the other way, but unfortunately he missed it.
So Michael Harris now had his 9-game hit streak snapped on Sunday, but still been tremendous so far this year.
Good to see him back out in center field as well. That also allows Dom Smith to get back in the lineup as your DH. Right, with Michael DHing over those last couple of games, that meant Dom Smith was on the bench.
Dom batting 7th tonight. He called that a strike. It looked like that miss, but 0-2. So maybe a bit of a gift there from Alan Porter to Casey Mize to get Harris to no balls and 2 strikes. And Michael bounces it to Torres at second. So the Braves strand him at the corners, unable to take advantage, and we are scoreless after 1. Scoreless to the second, and it is time to go below the surface. Brought to you by our good friends at Georgia Aquarium. Braves best 29-game starts going all the way back to 91. Yeah, 20-9 will do.
It certainly will, and depending on how you look at things, some good finishes, at least in the sense that the Braves were in the playoffs that year. And after last year, I think we get excited about trying to get back there this year, and maybe even some bigger goals in mind. But that is encouraging news, the way this team has started. And then, of course, all the other mess that's happening at the bottom of this National League East right now doesn't hurt either.
First pitch here in the second. A bouncer from Vierling to Riley. Perez has thrown 8 pitches. He has recorded 4 outs.
I will do that, Matt. That's averaging 2 pitches per batter, and I can say that with confidence.
What a start for Perez. 3 of them on the ground, and then the mechanical fly out to center. Well, you mentioned the NL East. The Braves just finished 13 games against the division, went 10-3. Of course, that was encouraging. And then the news today, and I'm sure most of you have heard, that the Phillies did relieve Rob Thompson of his duties. And Don Mattingly, the bench coach, is going to step in as the interim manager.
A little bit of a surprise. Obviously, we knew that they were struggling, but Rob Thompson just signed a contract extension in December. And this is, we just saw the Phillies. We've seen them twice now. A little bit more maybe of a roster flaw than anything he was doing, but Dave Dombrowski felt like they needed a new voice.
And on the heels of Boston firing Alex Cora, folks might remember Dave Dombrowski hired Alex Cora in Boston. They won a World Series title together in 2018. And supposedly he offered Cora that job here in Philadelphia. Cora said, no, I'm going to spend time with my family. And then he turned to Don Mattingly.
Yeah, they offered it to him on Sunday. It sounds like Dave Dombrowski had addressed the media, and that came up, and Alex Cora thought about it. And yesterday he told him no, and I think that's probably a smart move, because there's a good chance that that job's going to be open this winter. So go ahead and take some time, see how the rest of the landscape kind of fills out, and Alex Cora is going to be a guy who will be highly sought after this winter. No need to rush.
Yeah, but what a development. And you think of Red Sox and Phillies jobs both open, and we haven't even hit May. Dylan Dingler, talented catcher. Called strike. He is going to challenge immediately.
Batter is challenging strike ball.
Drake is, I think it's the ball. It's already didn't throw it around.
The ABS challenge is presented by T-Mobile. It is a ball. Yeah, Drake said, I think you won that.
Yeah.
Call is overturned. Detroit has 2 challenges remaining.
But both of these catchers in their sophomore seasons. Now, Dingler's a couple years older than Baldwin, but both very, very talented. Dingler winning a Gold Glove last year in his first season as the Tigers starting catcher. Justin Verlander back this year, the veteran, on the IL right now, but a part of that Tigers team again, and a guy obviously that whatever he can provide on the mound is great. I think they also just love that presence in the clubhouse.
No doubt, and kind of a homecoming, right, for Justin Verlander, where he started his career. I think another aspect of that, and this is a very intriguing rotation that they have on paper. The Tigers are all in. It's a franchise record payroll. 4 of their starting pitchers are free agents next year. They're definitely going for it.
They've got their first base runner tonight. Free pass for Dingler. And the Braves are going to see the top 3 pitchers for the Tigers. It's Mize tonight, but then you get Skubal and Framber Valdez, who they went and got in the offseason. So these Atlanta hitters will certainly be challenged over these next 3 days. Riley Green, the batter.
Skubal had that huge arbitration hearing, and I thought had he won that case, that was probably the only spending they were going to do, and it was the opposite. He won his case, $32 million. Then they went out and they got Framber Valdez on a multi-year deal and continued to spend and beef up their team. They got very aggressive.
The favorites to win the AL Central, and as we said, they're a half game up right now, but they have struggled on the road. They're 10-2 at home, but just 5-12 is AJ Hinch's club away from Detroit this year. (2-0) bounce to Olsen. He recovers and steps on the bag. Dingler to second.
You know, Matty was thinking double play as soon as that ball was hit, and he is so sure-handed. We don't see this too often. Now, of course, he still gets the out at first. Looked like maybe he would have caught the heel of the glove. Let's take a peek. That did. Kind of in and out.
That's 4 ground ball outs so far for Perez. You got Dingler in scoring position. Here is Torkelson, who has been on fire. He has hit a homer in 5 straight games, and that has tied a Tigers franchise record.
A slow start to the year, big year last year, a lot of power in that bat, and you're right, he has found his stroke here recently.
He was fooled on that curveball by Perez. He did not have a homer until these last 5 games. So, as you said, started cold, but Torkelson is heating up. I think Perez being a little extra careful in this spot.
And doing it with the changeup, right? So we saw a couple of curveballs to start things off, and then it was back-to-back changeups. One of the pitches that Torkelson has absolutely torched this year has been the 2-seam fastball. Obviously, that's a strength of Martinez, but he kept away from it so far. He's also hit the 4-seamer pretty well. So trying to get him with some off-speed pitches, going for weak contact. He'll take swing and miss, though, if he can get it.
There's the changeup again, and now he's got him in a full count. The 3-2 from number 33, Martin Perez. Goes with a changeup once more. So that's 4 straight.
So I'm curious to see whether, and again, he's at deep repertoire. We know Martin has a real feel for pitching. He's not going to overpower anybody, right? But he does have that cutter that he's very comfortable throwing to either side of the plate. So perhaps you go in, try to get the swing of the weak contact, or maybe even backdoor. Remember, we talked about him getting a lot of strikeouts looking.
No strikeout looking there. It's another changeup, this one low. So a pair of free passes here in the second. And now you get the rookie, Hao-Yu Lee, just his 8th big league game. Lee was called up last week when Zach McKinstry went on the IL with a hip injury. Lee more of a contact hitter, good strike zone discipline in his scouting report.
There's that backdoor cutter I was talking about with Martino. That one elevated, but that is always for him a freeze pitch, trying to get a strike looking.
Pop back and out of play. Another cutter to Lee. 1-1. Perez was lightning quick in the first inning, only threw 7 pitches. This will be the 23rd pitch of the second frame for the southpaw. Two and one upstairs.
And that's not where he wants that sinker. When he is throwing the two-seamer, he wants it down, bottom third, even below the zone. You want guys swinging at it and looking for another one of those ground balls.
Swing and a miss, down to a knee with a good changeup. So a pair of cutters, the two-seamer and the changeup. Now the 5th pitch of the at-bat. 2-2, and he bounces in a changeup, and it's full. So Dingler walked, Torkelson walked, 2 on 2 out, and now a full count here to How You Lee. He got him. A cutter. Lee was out in front. 2 walks do not hurt Martin Perez in the second.
It got big too, but it worked out perfectly here, trying to go backdoor, but swing and miss on a cutter and take it all night long for Martin Perez.
I mean, what better way to spend it than by raising some money for charity and playing a little golf? It was the 4th annual Austin Riley Charity Golf Tournament, benefiting the Warrior Alliance, an organization that helps veterans and their families. And it was a beautiful day up in Johns Creek, guys. Saw Peter Moylan making a putt there. I don't know if they doctored that footage. They might have, who knows. But guys, it was a tremendous success. And so far, that event has raised over $500,000 over the last 4 years combined. So again, a great cause, and for Austin Riley, a great way to spend the off day.
Yeah, he does tireless work and something Austin is very passionate about. So great work by Austin. And Wiley, I know you played in that event. How was your golf game yesterday?
It was good. I had a great time. Weather was great. Drinks were good. And, you know, I had a lot of good fellowship on the course.
That was not the question.
So your team did not take home the trophy.
I mean, they weren't handing out enough trophies. We would have taken one home if they gave us the option.
It was like Wiley's Little League days. You got a participation trophy.
They gave you one of those yellow ribbons on the way out.
I don't wear the ribbon.
That's a good Seinfeld reference. Riley down on the splitter. So a couple of strikeouts so far for Casey Mize.
And I'm with Wiley too on the deceptive editing there. Did look like Peter Moylan shanked that off the face of the putter, but somehow it went in.
Dom Smith, as CJ mentioned, with Harris back out in center field. You got Dom Smith back in the DH spot tonight. No balls and 2 strikes for Casey Mize. Made the All-Star team last year, his first of his career. And this right-hander will turn 29 on Friday on May 1st. A ball and 2 strikes to Dom Smith.
Yeah, one of the 4 that I mentioned that'll be a free agent at the end of the year for Casey Mize. And unfortunately for the Tigers, they basically missed out on 2 years of Casey Mize due to injuries. And he's really kind of found himself over these last couple, and just in time to potentially lead the Tigers organization.
Yeah, Tommy John surgery midway through the 22 season, missed all of 2023. But back on track in a big way.
When he first broke into the league, there was some talk, and perfect timing here on the arm angle, that his fastball was kind of flat. I did an interview with him a couple of years ago. He kind of knew that his fastball really wasn't going to play at the big league level, and he still had his issues so far this year. Start seeing that two-seamer a little bit more, but he was what we call a below-average vert guy. Didn't have big ride on his fastball, but the arm angle has come up. You see the difference there that we showed you, and it has been significant. Arm angle comes up, very similar to what Spencer Strider was working on. That could potentially get you a little bit more vert, and it also helps the split, right? So now everything is coming up from a higher arm angle and kind of going in two different directions.
Dom Smith challenges. Looked like this might have caught the zone.
Batter is challenging the strike call.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's going to lose this one.
Grazing the south part.
Calls confirmed. Atlanta has 1 challenge remaining.
So 1 left for the Braves and 3 strikeouts for Mize. So it's over the course of 6 years with the Tommy John surgery in the middle, but a 12-degree change for an arm angle, pretty significant.
Yeah, and it's come up over the last couple of years. I think he was actually a degree higher last year, so this was a conscious thing for him. He also had the back surgery. I don't know if that was tied into it at all for him. He's had hamstring issues as well, but he has found himself a really comfortable slot in which to throw where all of his pitches work really well. Again, especially the secondaries. The fastball still gets hit a little bit, but the other ones have been good.
He's trying to strike out the side here. He's ahead of Dubon 0-2 with 2 away. Dubon out to right. Vierling backing up to take it as he steps onto the track. Braves go in order in the second.
Top of the 3rd inning, no score. Braves fans, Braves Country Fest is coming up on June 13th. A lot of exciting artists, including one who is here with us tonight, Mackenzie Carpenter. You'll be playing an acoustic set. I'm not a music person, I'm a baseball person. An acoustic set after the game tonight at the Georgia Power Pavilion. How are the nerves? I mean, you're born and raised in Georgia. How do you feel about performing here at Truist?
Oh my gosh, it's like a family reunion. I'm so excited. This is the best show I'm ever going to play.
Well, as far as Braves Country Fest goes, what can we expect to see from you?
Wow. You know, I'm just excited to be there. What an iconic star-studded lineup. I'm just like thankful. I'm going to kick things off, so I'm going to bring the energy. I'm bringing the fun and hopefully some Braves swag, you know?
That sounds good to me. Now, your husband, Cole, played baseball at Georgia Tech. Your brother played baseball at Georgia Tech. Do you get to hold it over them that you're the one playing on the big league stage?
Well, you know, they actually got to play here before I did. So they've kind of one-upped me. So what do I do now?
I think you just outdo them. You guys played here in college?
Sophomore year. Sophomore year with Coach Hall. James Ramsey. Taking them to the top right now, baby.
Well, Mackenzie, tell me about your baseball experience. I mean, your brother obviously played. Did you spend a lot of your time growing up at baseball fields?
Yeah, I'm actually coining the term park princess because I grew up in the ballpark watching both of my brothers play, and they were so talented. Honestly, they're like 12 and under years were like our core memory years. And I would just bring my little blanket and I would paint nails of the moms and the sisters, and we would do makeup and play Polly Pockets, and it was honestly a peak childhood at the ballpark.
All right, so before we let you go, favorite Brave all time?
You know, what'd you say?
Tom Glavine.
You know, it's true. You know, Tom Glavine was his coach in high school in travel ball.
Yeah, high school travel ball.
So he's speaking
Coach
for both
Tom,
of us.
For sure.
Shout out.
All right, we like Tom. We like Tom on this program.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, can't wait to watch you play tonight and on June 13th.
I would probably say Freddie Freeman though, but I feel like, is that scary to say? Like,
No, I think Freddie's
I just feel like it
appreciated.
was like so sad how he left.
Well, you know what? We always got a special place in our heart for Freddie. Mackenzie, thanks for the time. Cole, good to see you as always. Guys, go back into the booth.
All right, Wiley, thank you very much. And meanwhile, Perez getting the ground out and the strikeout here to start the third. So after a little bit of a longer second, Perez settling back in.
And hat tip to Wiley, clearly talking to a celebrity there in Mackenzie Carpenter, but you know he really wanted to talk Georgia Tech baseball. That's where he wanted to go. But he did his job. He stayed professional. Well done.
As he always does. Gleyber Torres now the batter. Second straight season on a one-year deal with Detroit. He made $15 million. Now he's making just over $22 million this season.
Well, he really kind of saved things here with the Tigers, I think, for Torres, right? And coming back for them, right? Accepting that qualifying offer was a big one. One less thing that they had to worry about with Gleyber Torres. He has really kind of reestablished himself. Go have another good year, and he could be due for a big payday this winter.
Was an all-star last year, starting second baseman in the all-star game last season here in Atlanta.
And he probably was not disappointed to see Nico Horner get a deal done with the Chicago Cubs. It's a somewhat strong second base market this offseason. You don't see that happen very often, not from that position, but one big name is off the board.
Torres thought maybe ball four, but 3-2. And before the time with the Tigers, previous 6.5 years in the pinstripes in the Bronx for Torres. Once again, a payoff pitch. And missed outside. So third walk here for Perez tonight. A message right here from our friends at Kia. So still no hits for the Tigers, but 3 base runners all on the free pass. And now here's Kevin McGonigal, 21-year-old rookie who is off to a fantastic start this season.
Now certainly for the Tigers, thrilled with him, and we saw him in spring training, looked really good, ends up making the team. Then they get an extension done. I feel like they got something special, and I would agree. I mean, early on in his career as a rookie, more walks than strikeouts. Stephen Kwan did that a couple of years ago in 2022 as a rookie. Dustin Pedroia in 2007. Those are the only 2 rookies to do it since 2000. Still early, but in some pretty special company.
And that extension was back on April 15th. 8 years, $150 million just 3 weeks into his big league career.
Imagine just broadcasting for like 3 weeks and like, hey, here's an 8, 9, 10-year deal. You're doing great.
That would be nice. 2-1. 2-2. A little bit different for the talented McGonigal.
I think a team like the Tigers, they try to stay ahead of the curve, right? They're generally, especially now, not going to compete for the biggest free agents, although they did bring in Framber Valdez this past offseason. But yes, it's a record payroll right now. It is probably going to come down after next year. And you identify a young player you think is going to help you. You try to save yourself some money by doing what the Braves have done here, which is lock up those youngsters.
Yeah, you can certainly tell the Tigers front office, they feel like they are in win now mode. Trying to get back to the postseason for the 3rd straight year. Two-two. Grounded foul. Overcast skies. Had all the rain earlier. It cleared out early afternoon, and temperatures right now in the mid-60s. Pleasant night for baseball here in Atlanta.
You can see the bat-to-ball skills and why this guy is so liked by the Tigers, why he is such a tough out, and splits early on. 304 against lefties coming into this one. It's been really impressive to see. And the same amount of walks to strikeouts left on left. You think there would be a little bit more swing and miss maybe against left-handed pitching, but has not been the case.
And he hasn't even been able to drink beer for a year. And he's doing all of this. He slaps it to left, but it's foul. Four straight foul balls here for McGonigal. Had a deep fly to center in the first. It was caught by Harris. And he's worked a full count. Perez trying to avoid a fourth free pass tonight. And he does. He strikes out the rookie. That battle goes to the veteran and sends us to the bottom of the third.
Austin Riley's got the new flow in the back. Mississippi boy. It's got to be him, right?
I see Strider trying to play the part with the mustache, the cowboy hat, that whole deal.
Either Grant Holmes or Austin Riley. I feel like they just have that twang in their voice a little bit, and probably country music is at its finest.
I don't want to hear any of those guys sing. I want to hear the people that are performing at Braves Country Fest June 13th. Get your tickets, braves.com/BCF. You can also see the full lineup there.
Oh.
Called Strike. Yastrzemski not going to challenge. We're ready up here in the booth. The headliners, by the way, we talked to you about it, but Cody Johnson, Ella Langley, Ernest, and then Mackenzie Carpenter. As there's a line drive, it's on the chalk and fair. Yastrzemski is going to start the bottom of the third with a stand-up double.
Good to see here for Yaz against the fastball at just 90 miles an hour on the four-seamer, but he turns on it, smokes it down the right field line. We know he's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, and there was a delayed call here over at first base and kind of waiting to see Will Little what he was going to say, and eventually he rules it fair, so it'll take it a little bit of time to make sure that he gets it right.
Yeah, Will Little was a lot of late, but he had the right call, and Yaz has his fourth double of the season. Now remember, first inning, this guy Acuna doubled to start the ball game, but was stranded at third. See if the Braves can get Yastrzemski around.
A fastball go. It came in a little bit light at 90 miles an hour that Yaz was able to turn on.
Oh, 1 here from Mize to Acuna. Acuna is going to drive in the first run of the game. He's got his second extra base hit of the ball game. A pair of doubles for Acuna, 1-0 Atlanta.
We talked about it over the weekend, and perhaps some of those at-bats that we saw from Ronald telling us that he may be ready to go on a heater. And so far, a good start here tonight. That first double came against the fastball. This time it's the split, and he stays on it really well. That's bottom of the zone. That's a pretty good pitch, but Ronald ready for it and driving in, as you mentioned, that first run of the game.
So Acuna has seen 3 pitches from Mize. He has offered at all 3 of them, and he has 2 doubles. Good start for the Braves right fielder. Drake Baldwin, who tapped back to the mound in the first inning.
Was in that same situation, right? Runner at second base. You had nobody out. Your worst case scenario, you want to make sure that you get Ronald over to third.
Another slow bouncer that the pitcher's going to take. That's twice that Baldwin has hit it back to Mize and advanced Acuna to third base.
And both times he's done it against the split. Giddy up!
Which one? What do you want to see?
For you, that's a great question. I'm going to go light.
Go here?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? Can you do that over your headset?
We are.
My wife really likes when I put this on. No, I don't know. I just said that. I hope she'd like it.
I was scared at where that was going.
No, yeah. So, you know, we don't have. I feel like a little bit of a sheriff in this thing. I'm kind of digging it a little bit.
Sheriff Nitkowski.
We didn't have these in suburban New York City where I grew up, so it's fun to play cowboy now that we've been Southerners for, gosh, 20-plus years. That's a good one right there.
Yeah, that is a good one with the A on it. We didn't get those up here in the booth, but we're ready for Braves Country Fest on June 13th. Well, they're looking at mines here. Wonder.
Told you, man, that velocity, that fastball that he threw to Yaz at 90 miles an hour was concerning. And clearly the Tigers were concerned about it as well.
Just 34 pitches in. The all-star from a year ago and the former #1 overall pick, who has had injury issues in the past, is leaving here in the 3rd inning. So there will be a long pause before they go to the bullpen. We'll step aside and get it sorted out when we return. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Georgia Natural Gas. It's that simple. By Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. And by Comcast Business. All in connection and protection your small business can rely on. No one does business like Comcast Business. Well, big story here in the 3rd inning. Casey Mize, starter for the Tigers, leads the game with some discomfort. Now, this is the last play. We talked about the velocity dip, CJ. I don't know if there was anything on this grounder from Baldwin here.
Yeah, we're going to take a peek and see if we notice anything. Remember, back issues where he had that surgery a couple years ago, hamstring issues, left hamstring. There was a couple of different times where he had missed time because of the left hamstring. I don't see anything there. And maybe nothing is connected to velocity, but again, it just kind of surprised me a little bit when I saw that 90-mile-an-hour fastball that Mike Yastrzemski was able to hit down the line for that leadoff double.
But now they're going to have to go to their bullpen here in the 3rd with 1 out. And Brant Herter, who pitched at Georgia Tech, is a Woodstock, Georgia native. The lefty's going to come in here.
And he's been really good. You can see that 2.45 ERA up to this point for Herter over his 11 games. Has had some outings where he's gone multiple innings. Get a 2-seam fastball, sweeper, changeup, a couple of 4-seamers, but it is mostly that 2-seam fastball. He uses it quite a bit, 66% of the time for this left-hander on his 2-seamers. So kind of working that sink. And while the doubles were really fun this inning, my most favorite thing that happened this inning was a text message that we got from Big Al that wanted me to let you know you had your hat on backwards.
Oh, my dad texted me too. I was like, yeah, I did that intentionally. That's how I wear my hat.
I didn't know. I had to ask somebody.
Hats.
This is my cowboy hat, but I still had to ask somebody, do I have it on right? Like, which is the front?
This is the proper way,
folks. We don't have to be ashamed. We don't have to be. No shame in our game.
Hey, let's go downstairs. Wiley, what do you have?
Well, as you guys get your hats figured out, Brant Herter, as you mentioned, from Woodstock, Georgia, and I had a chance to catch up with Brant before the game. This is the first time he has ever been to Truist Park as a big leaguer. A couple of years ago when Detroit came down, he was not with the big league team, but asked him about his favorite memories growing up as a Braves fan. He looked at me and said, I've never been more excited than I was at 8 years old when Craig Kimbrell would come out to Welcome to the Jungle. I would lose my mind. So since then, he is a big walk-out, walk-up music guy. And we'll see how he does. He's got about 35 friends and family here tonight.
Wow. So I wonder if Brant Herter could talk to his 8-year-old self, now 27 years old, that he would be coming out in a Tigers bullpen to face those Braves with the infield in and a runner at 3rd. And he induces a weak swing from Matt Olson.
So you have, first of all, the emotion, right, of pitching here in this ballpark and being a local guy. Woodstock High School is where he played his high school baseball, and then you have to hurry up and get ready because everybody is waiting for you, and it kind of comes out of nowhere, and you have to take those warm-ups on the big league mound. It can be a very uncomfortable situation because you want to make sure you're ready. At the same time, it's like, man, nobody else is out of the field right now. There's no infielders, and it can be a little bit of a mess sometimes for guys.
Braves have been good this year with runners in scoring position. We talked about it. Toyota Trends feature. How about 307 for the average, 115 driven in.
And a lot of those RBIs, it's not always leading to a hit, right? The batting average is great, but they're getting the runs in, and we've talked about this a lot. Team at bats that you see from this club in big situations.
One of those situations here, but Olson down, a ball and 2 strikes.
Wiley just surrounded by Georgia Tech talent here.
Olson, liner out to center. catch is made by Baez, but that will get Ronald Acuna Jr. home easily. 2-0 here in the third.
It's good at bat from Matt Olson, left on left to get down to the count 1-2. And he smoked this baseball. You put it in the gap, and now you're talking about extra bases again. It is that two-seam fastball, but 108 off the bat, left on left. Impressive for Matt Olson to get the job done.
26th RBI on the season. That's one more than Baldwin for the most in a Braves uniform this year. First pitch, Ozzie sees, he grounds to McGonigal. Third inning in the books, but the Braves get 2.
Put on a country hat and good things happen, BG. First it was Yaz, then it was Ronald, and then it was Matt Olson. The Braves up early here against the Tigers. Giddy up!
Today's A-list members of the game, Warren and Jen Simmons of Atlanta. The Simmons have been A-listers since 22. Their favorite perk, having priority access to postseason tickets. Hopefully they'll get more of those this year. Congratulations to the Simmons, today's A-list members of the game.
It's a good jacket right there.
Great jacket.
Good satin jacket.
Absolutely. Good to have them at the ballpark tonight, and they are enjoying the Braves being on top here 2-0 as we head to the top of the fourth. Well, great Tigers play-by-play man Jason Benetti came in talking with us between the innings. We were all trying to speculate on the Mize injury, and they weren't certain, but they kind of pointed out the couple of things that we did.
Yeah, I wonder about the use of the fastball.
Perez has to hurry here, and he does to take care of Veerley.
It's a great play by Martin. When you're a sinker ball pitcher, you get a lot of ground balls the way Martin does and weak contact. You've got to be able to field your position because you're going to get a lot of these. Now, he was in between on whether or not you bare hand or gold glove there. It was still fast enough where he decided glove, so you get a little bit more exchange time where you have to hurry, but he executed it perfectly.
If and when we get an update on Mize, we'll pass it along to you, but unfortunate, even when it's the opponent for sure, that there is an injury. So hopefully it's not something that will put him on the shelf. Dingler walked in the second.
Another thing I was thinking about when we showed you Dylan Dingler and wearing number 13. He wore 38 2 years ago when he first got to the big leagues, and at least for me, and I played for Detroit for parts of 5 different seasons, instantly thinking of Lance Parrish and seeing that number 13, who was a great catcher for that ball club for a decade and a coach as well. It's a kind of a, you know, you sit there and you, not that you're trying to identify as another player, but for the older Tiger fan, it's nostalgic to see Dingler behind the plate wearing number 13.
And that gold glove he won last year. Last Tiger catcher to win a gold glove. The great Pudge Rodriguez back in '07, the Hall of Famer.
Lance Parrish won 3 of those. He was an 8-time All-Star, and he was the catcher of that last World Series team back in 1984 when they beat the Padres.
Yeah, that '84 team, Sparky Anderson, Lou Whitaker, Kirk Gibson.
Do you know what's crazy? So that's the 1984 team. I played for Sparky Anderson. I played with both of those guys. Doesn't make sense to me. Like 1984, I was in like 6th grade. But yeah, those guys, Sparky was my first manager with Detroit, and both of those guys were teammates. That's even to me, it seems crazy to say that.
Liner out to left off the bat of Dingler. He makes a big turn, but he's going to stop at first base. And that is the first hit of the ball game for the Tigers.
Take a look here. It looks like that is that curveball trying to go backdoor down. It's below the zone, but Dingler goes and gets it, and then Yaz does a great job of getting over there. Nice clean fielding and spin and throw to keep that to a single.
Alan Trammell, Jack Morris, a couple of the other greats on that '84 Tigers team that won that World Series. And you and I have talked about it before. Their new ballpark's great, but that old ballpark in Detroit, there was something special about the double deck stack in right field.
I wish they could have done what they did in Chicago and what they did in Boston, which was find a way to keep that place alive.
Michael Harris heading toward the gap, and he takes it. Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist. 2-0 Braves here in the fourth. 2 outs, and the batter will be Torkelson. I'm with you, though, partner. I wish they could have done that as well in Detroit.
The difference, obviously, with Wrigley and with Fenway is that they're in neighborhoods. You didn't really have that at Old Tiger Stadium, and probably part of the reason that there wasn't the motivation. It wasn't necessarily in a great spot.
And Comerica's a good yard. It's just very different from Old Tiger Stadium.
You never see anything like it, right? You mentioned that upper deck. How close it was to the field is what was so unique. Now, in order to do that, you have to have obstructed view seats in the lower deck, and that's why new ballparks don't have that.
Just off the outside corner, 1-1.
And that's what you get with Torkelson. Obviously, he's been really good lately, but even throughout this entire season, he has not expanded. A chase rate at 17% for him so far this year. Your league average is 30. He's been really good.
J.R. Ritchie, tomorrow's starter, once again going to school, talking to the veteran and his idol, Chris Sale.
That's going to be a fun one tomorrow. J.R. Ritchie, Tarek Skubal. No doubt he's excited about it, and we'll see what happens, but he also could be lined up to pitch a game in Seattle, which would be amazing for him.
From that area. Yeah, how about him facing Skubal in his second big league start? Because obviously you're not necessarily going head to head with that pitcher, but
yeah,
in a certain way for Ritchie, that's got to be a big deal.
It is. It's fun. It's exciting. It's a reminder, not that you needed it, but you're in the big leagues, and there's a lot of big names here, and you're talking to one obviously right now in Chris Sale, and then you're going to go up against another one tomorrow. I think it was my 4th start. I went up against Maddox.
Ooh.
My 2nd one was Dre Beck. My 5th one was Kurt Schilling.
Wow.
And so you're just, it's, you know, name after name. You just go, and it's neat and it's fun. But like you said, at the end of the day, you're generally not facing them. It's about trying to get their teammates out.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Gets Torkelson, does Perez to end the top of the 4th.
Nice job on the cutter here from Martin, and knowing he's got to go at Torkelson, and he wins the battle.
You never know what's going to happen in the Home Depot tool race, except you know there's going to be a couple of collisions. Today there was a football. Always a lot of fun here in the middle of the 4th inning. Bucket gets the gold medal tonight. All right, Michael Harris, Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact Player. And CJ certainly has had a big impact over these last 10.
He's been locked in. He's seen the baseball well. He's done a pretty good job of eliminating some of that chase. But what Michael has done so well is he's gotten the barrel to the baseball. He has squared them up in a huge way, and it's been fun to watch.
He grounded out in the first 0 for 1 tonight. If you're just tuning in, starter for the Tigers tonight, Casey Mize, left last inning with an injury. No update on that yet, but it's Herter in the bullpen out there for Detroit now.
So Herter comes into this one. I guess he's faced the one lefty so far, Matt Olson. It was a sack, so it's not an official at bat. Lefties are just 1 for 19 against him. That's good for an .053 batting average. The righties have been a lot better, 7 for 21. That's at .333. So we mentioned with Casey Mize having the real distinct splits. They were backward splits. In the case of Herter, they're kind of how you would think they would line up for a left-handed reliever.
So a tough task here for Harris. Puts it on the ground towards Lee over at 3rd. 1 down.
What makes that surprising with his numbers is that he's so heavy two-seam fastball. right? It's not as if he's coming in now. He does have a sweeper, and that's the other pitch that he uses. But a lot of times when you see those really dominant numbers, chances are the guy throws hard, has a really big breaker. This is just sink, sink, sink all day long, left on left.
Former 7th round pick for the Tigers back in 21, Brant Herter. Talked about him playing at Georgia Tech, where he was a solid starter there for a couple of years, and then 2020 happened COVID. He also was injured that year and then moved to the bullpen as a pro. Fielding a spot here, but the throw gets past Torkelson, and Austin Riley will reach. So this works out well for Atlanta with one out here in the 4th.
Well, this is very lefty of him. As we kind of tease sometimes our left-handed pitchers, he got around it. He was in a good position. He just spiked that ball right in the ground, and that's a tough pick for Torkelson, because you also know that Austin Riley is on his way, right? So you get kind of that alligator arm a little bit. You get a little nervous about getting out there because of potential contact.
So E1, and you get Riley to second, and now with a lefty on the mound, and the numbers that CJ mentioned, Dom Smith is removed from the game, and Kyle Farmer is going to step into the DH spot.
Oh, and the rivalry is real for these guys, right? You got Georgia Tech, and we haven't seen a lot of Kyle Farmer in his career, though. He has been excellent as a pinch hitter.
No overlap for these guys at those two programs. Farmer 8 years older than the lefty on the mound.
.291 is the batting average, over 127 at bats as a pinch hitter for Farmer.
That'll
big
play.
Numbers, big numbers.
Farmer fouling off the changeup. 0-2. Herter, the pitcher we mentioned from Woodstock, Georgia. Kyle Farmer from right here in Atlanta. Football and baseball star at Marist, just 10 miles from where we sit here at Truist Park. And he's down on strikes. Four-seam fastball gets him. Let's get a message in here from our friends at Zaxby's.
Zaxby's giant chicken finger quesadillas. Get them while you can. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
They got another right-handed hitter to the plate here in Mauricio Dubon.
Be curious if he uses that sinker at all middle away. Mauricio has shown us he's got the ability to drive the baseball to the opposite field. You can even see how they're playing in the center, shaded to right center. Think about a two-seam fastball running away. That's a pretty good pitch to drive to the opposite field.
And the 7, 8, 9 spots in this Braves order, as we have discussed, have been excellent this year. Second most RBI from those spots in the order behind the Dodgers in all of baseball. And Dubon tried to go that way, but Torres makes the play. Runner stranded. We're through 4 on a Tuesday night at Truist Park.
At Braves Country, I am so excited to announce that I'll be playing the first ever Braves Country Fest at Truist Park. It's this summer, and I can't wait to see y'all there.
Braves Country Fest, June 13th. That's Ellen Langley, who's going to be starring, one of the great performers. A couple of Ella fellas up here in the booth. All right, I think I've got this figured out, folks.
No more text from your
finally,
fan base. There you go.
Yep.
That's a good look right there.
Mission accomplished.
That is a great look. That's a sidekick look right there if I've ever seen one. So I got this cowboy hat at the gala, the Denim and Diamonds that we had this offseason here.
So that is actually yours.
Oh, yeah. They were very generous to us. But I made the mistake of instead of just like having them size me up, I knew I was a 7 3/8, or at least I was at one point in my life. And so that I just did 7 3/8. It's tight. It's tight.
But it looks great.
I mean, I feel like there's a big red mark on my forehead when I put this thing on.
This is going to be trouble off the bat of Hao-Yu Lee, and it's going to roll to the wall. And before Yastrzemski can get to it, it's a leadoff double. First extra base hit for the Tigers tonight.
Lee does it on the cutter here from Martin Perez. Take a look at the location. Maybe not as far in as he wanted. A little bit of depth to it. Good looking swing there from Lee. He moved pretty well too.
You know what I see when I look at you in that hat is Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber. That's what I see.
I did get one of those responses. So you weren't the only one.
We landed on the moon. One bouncer to Dubon. Oh, high throw. Well, they got him, but now is Baez okay?
Yeah, that was, you hate to see it, right? The idea of sliding into first base, even though he went feet first.
Boy, they've already lost their starting pitcher tonight, Casey Mize, to an injury. And now last year's All-Star, the veteran Javi Baez, is in serious pain.
Yeah, it's just tough to see. He's done a really nice job kind of reestablishing himself as an outfielder here with the Tigers. Looked like maybe it was going to be a lost contract, and he really has contributed in multiple positions. And you can see the right knee that's getting attended to, but he is in significant pain.
Understandable looks of concern over in that Tigers dugout right now. This just sailed a little bit on Dubon.
And the thing that's frustrating for Baez is that Matt Olson was able to get back down in time, right? But it was a late slide there, and you see the way that he jams up against the base. And easy to say now, would have been better if he had just ran right through the bag. Trying to avoid the tag, right? I think is part of it.
Yeah, the way that that knee turned when that foot got caught on that last plant.
Yeah,
right there, right there. They're just now helping him to his feet.
I may have to get the cart here. We'll see. It doesn't look all that comfortable putting much weight on it.
He's in the 5th season of that 6-year, $140 million deal that didn't look good for a while, but straightened things out last year, as CJ mentioned, with a lot of time in the outfield. But he is clearly hobbled here in the 5th inning, and he's going to have to leave this ball game.
See George Poulos has come out now. Looks like he's trying to get the attention of those that would be in charge of getting a card out here. No sense, and you listen, you appreciate a guy feeling like, oh, I'll just walk off, but not a good idea.
He just pointed with the athletic trainer down to the ankle area. Ronald Acuna Jr. coming in to check on Baez.
Yeah, they're going to bring that card out from center field.
You just hate to see this. 3-time All-Star who's been around for a while. Remember him helping the Cubs to the 2016 World Series title, was the NLCS MVP that year. And now all these years later, a veteran with the Detroit Tigers, and hopefully this won't be as serious as it looks. And the 13-year veteran is going to hobble over with assistance into the cart and exit. And for the 15 and 14 Tigers, what a tough start to the series. They have now tonight lost their All-Star starting pitcher, one of their All-Star starting pitchers, and another All-Star in Javier Baez.
Turning into a busy night in the training room, and again, not what you want to see, right? We knew this was going to be a tough series coming into it because of the pitching, because this team had been playing really well, 11-5 over their last 16. But now, unfortunately, losing two pretty significant players.
Baez was out on the play, so one down and a runner at second here in the fifth when play resumes.
I think I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
A little Austin Powers trying to get out of there. There we go.
Round of applause from Truist Park as Baez exits. CJ, no, you remember when they brought him in on that deal, they kind of viewed him as a centerpiece to build around. And first few years were a little rocky. He's kind of getting back on track, and now this injury tonight.
I thought there was a real chance 2 years ago. It was dead money. And you'd wondered if the Tigers had thought about eating it. It had gotten that bad, and then he lost his position over a short and put him in the outfield. All of a sudden, he just went off and provided a lot of value and was fine with it, right? Didn't make a big deal about the fact that he had lost his position over a shortstop. And he became a contributor. Wasn't a subtraction anymore, but that was a big ad for them, and now unfortunately looking like a potential big loss.
Tough for A.J. Hinch and the Tigers, but the game goes on here in the fifth. Top of the order, and Jahmai Jones now the batter.
Martin Perez can get him one more time. Well, got our medical update coming in.
Right groin tightness for Mize.
Yep, that's one, and unfortunately there'll be another one coming in eventually. But Martinez done a good job of getting Jones out twice here. This is his job, to face lefties. He doesn't really get the opportunity to face right-handed pitching. He's only had 5 at-bats this year against righties.
And Perez getting him the first 2 times. See what happens here in the third meeting. And let's check out our Home Depot working on a win feature and the numbers so far as Perez is working on a win.
He's doing a great job. This would be a big inning again right now because they have the matchups that they want due to the Detroit Tigers with Jones and then Torres. And the way they set their lineup up because of the left-handed starter tonight.
Last time out for Perez was the 22nd out of the bullpen against the Nationals. His last start was the 17th of this month. 6 scoreless against the Phillies, and so far similar numbers this evening. 3-2 now to Jones. Payoff pitch. He struck him out. Second time he has Jones swinging tonight. That's 5 Ks for Perez.
And on the changeup again in these back-to-back plate appearances for Jones, that Martin Perez is able to pull the string and finish him off. Really impressive. Again, that's why Jones is in there to face these lefties, and he is now 0 for 3 tonight with 2 punchies.
So now 2 down. Baldwin keeps that in front and keeps the runner Lee at second base. Well, at least for Casey Mize, a groin issue certainly better than if they had reported something with the elbow or the shoulder.
100%. And I think probably being pretty safe about it. He's important to what they do. They already have Verlander on the IL. It's also, again, a free agent year for him. Not that he's thinking about himself, but you want to be cautious with the other injuries he's had in the past.
Gleyber Torres, a ground out and then a walk in the third.
Bring him.
That is in there. Change up. 1-2.
Been a couple of times where whether it's been intentional or not that changeup has ended up in to right-handed hitters, but it's been effective.
Baldwin calling time.
I wonder if he didn't like the pitch selection, kind of change his mind here a little bit. And the one thing I really do like about Martin too is you see it, right? It's the cutter, it's the changeup, it's the curveball, it's the sinker. But there are times when you're throwing a lot of off-speed pitches and you start to feel good that your ego gets in the way a little bit. All of a sudden you think you can blow one by a guy. And not always a smart idea.
2-2 with 2 outs. Change up and another full count. Had quite a few of those tonight. He has issued the 3 walks, Perez, this evening.
They're talking bullpen right now, no doubt about it, as far as what the Braves want to do if Torres is able to get on. We know that Fuentes is here now with Dylan Lee on paternity leave. He'd be a great multi-inning guy in a situation like this to connect the back end guys.
And with Lee on the paternity list, that's a 3-day minimum, so he'll be out for this series. Payoff pitch. Missing outside. So 5 strikeouts for Perez, but now 4 walks tonight as well. And 2 of them to Torres, and Jeremy Hefner's going to pay a visit. Nobody throwing yet in the Braves pen, but you got Perez laboring a little bit, and he's at 86 pitches as well.
So this will become a little bit, but I haven't seen this before, and it's not that Martin's not listening, but he's completely got his back to Jeremy Hefner, and maybe it's because that's the way he wants to be facing. Doesn't want to take any chances that anybody could read his lips, but it really is about right now the strategy here against McGonigal, right? They had scouting reports, they had advanced scouting reports, but now they've got to see him for a couple of at-bats, and remember, Martin struck him out last time with that changeup.
That was in the 3rd inning. Back in the 1st, McGonigal gave it a ride to the warning track out in center field, but Harris caught it.
The only hits he has against lefties this year have come on fastballs, both the 2-seamer and the 4-seamer. No hits on anything else.
Perez does throw a 2-seamer there outside, 1-0 to the rookie. Perez 35 years old, McGonigal 21.
A little bit surprised that nobody is up right now. Again, you see that pitch count getting closer to 90.
Would have to think if McGonigal reaches, definitely would get some action down in that pen, and it's a 3-0 count.
Well, like as soon as I said that, it looked like there was action in the pen.
Yeah, Pyops is starting to stir down there. That clips the corner, 3-1.
And so now the decision is, do you continue to try to shoot corners only with the fastball? Will you go to something off speed, and you can then play a little bit in the bigger part of the zone? That's the decision here for Drake Baldwin and Martin Perez.
3-1 is lifted out towards Ronald Acuna Jr. Track, wall, reaching up, and Ronald has it. And the Tigers still have a goose egg in the middle of the 5th. I wasn't sure, partner.
Me neither. Ronald, you never know with him out there. Does a great job of hauling this one in, and collective exhale for all of us.
This inning. So let's take a trip around the bases with Ronald. Brought to you by Destin Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Great night so far. A couple of doubles and an RBI.
He's looked good tonight here so far. Swinging the bat well, making good decisions, made a nice play to end the last inning as well. It's good to see the bat of Ronald Acuna Jr. when it is going right. I'd like to see it one more time here as he swings that big, heavy metal pipe on deck. Think Wiley could swing that?
I know I couldn't, and Wiley and I are usually in the same camp athletically, so.
I see him just like Ronald hand it to him and it just dropped to the ground. Looks like it weighs about 50 pounds.
Yastrzemski also had a double that preceded the double by Acuna in the third. So with the Baez injury, Perez enters the game and goes to right. Vierling moves from right to center in the spot where Baez was. Didier Fuentes is now warming for the Braves, and wonder if they might, after that fifth, call that a good clean day for Martin Perez.
I would think so. And then the part of this for Fuentes, give him a clean inning, right? Even though that we've seen him out of the pen.
Bouncer here to first, and Torkelson wins a foot race.
If you can avoid it, you don't want to really bring him in with runners on base, not something that he is used to. So the clean inning and perhaps two of those, not to look too far ahead, would be a really nice fit. Again, then you can kind of hand it off to your setup man after that.
Wiley, what do you have?
Well, I think one of the stories of Didier Fuentes and the rest of this bullpen is, Brandon, is the fact that they're going to have to step into some different roles these next couple of days. Raisel Iglesias in the IL, Dylan Lee in paternity list, and for Didier, he might be asked to pitch in some leverage spots. It looks like one is shaping up right here.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're confident in doing that. I'd wondered if whether or not they were going to try to get him into the bullpen anyway with Iglesias going down, but you couldn't do it unless there was an injury because of when he had gotten sent down. Now this is different with the paternity list, but we know he can help. He's not going to make 30 starts this year, combined big leagues, minor leagues, right? So you're probably a little bit careful with his innings. So this is a way where you still keep him active. He is still producing and helping out the team, but you're not putting a lot of stressful innings on him either.
By the way, Iglesias has resumed throwing, so the Braves expect him to return soon, maybe when eligible to come off the IL, if not that day, shortly thereafter. To the third baseman, Lee. Strong throw across to get Ronald Acuna. Who's got the sauce? Brought to you by Zaxby's. Well, tonight it's our friend Drake Baldwin and Ozzie Albies as well right behind him. National League hits leaders.
It's unbelievable really to see that, right? I mean, it's so important. I think we believed in Drake. We saw last year what he could do, and now he's taken it up a notch. And Ozzie with this kind of bounce back year has just been tremendous, and in a weird way almost feeling like he's doing it quietly.
I would agree. We said that the other day. And maybe that's because the offense has been going so well on most nights. But it has been a very good thing to see. Ozzie batting cleanup tonight. Baldwin trying to get it up the middle, but Torres will cut it off and make it a 1-2-3 fifth.
Y'all, it's Ernest here, and I'm so excited to be playing at the first ever Braves Country Fest, June 13th. Insane lineup, stoked to be a part of it, and as a baseball guy myself, I love any chance I can to get back out there.
That'll be June 13th. Braves.com/Braves Country Fest. Or just Braves.com/BCF to get your tickets. All right, 2-0, sixth inning, and it will be Didier Fuentes. So it'll be the third time we have seen the young righty this year. Once out of the bullpen, one start, and now again out of the pen tonight.
And how about those strikeouts? Fun to see 11 of those in his 7 innings, just 2 walks, and as Riley just talked about, a little bit more of a high leverage situation here with a 2-0 lead.
And facing the middle part of the order, beginning with Vierling. Well, Martin Perez, he had 7 full counts. He walked 4, but the bottom line is that Perez got through 5 scoreless here tonight.
He did what he does best, and again, that's keeping the baseball off the barrel, keeping the baseball on the ground. Weak contact, yeah, every once in a while, a couple of walks, but he did a really nice job pitching around those.
So you go from the longtime veteran Perez at 35 years old to the young baby face 20-year-old righty here, Didier Fuentes. He doesn't have the frozen pizza glove tonight.
Well,
bouncer towards Ozzie. Sidearm throw. That glove working so far as well for Didier Fuentes.
Got the cool kind of baseball stitch on the back of the pocket.
Wiley, what do you have?
Well, I don't have the frozen pizza glove either, Brandon, but I do have a story on the fastball for Didier Fuentes. He throws it with 3 fingers. Take a look at that grip. That is not a changeup. He's got his index, middle, and ring finger on the 4-seam fastball grip. He talked to Jonah Hyman, really everyone across baseball. I haven't seen anything like it. It came from a game in which he had a blister on his middle finger as Michael makes the catch. And so during the game, he made an adjustment trying to take pressure off of that blister on his middle finger, put the ring finger on as sort of a guardrail. And it's the Braves' opinion and Didier's opinion that he doesn't lose any velocity doing that. If anything, he might pick up a little bit of spin. But it has worked for him so far.
It has, and I think probably the command, I'm guessing, is also better, right? If you were to go back to your standard 4-seam fastball, almost might seem a little bit loose in his hand and might not be able to control it as well. But clearly he hasn't lost velocity, as that one is 99 miles an hour. What's interesting about the spin, it's actually a below average spin rate that he gets on his 4-seam fastball. It's a little bit over 2,000, where your average 4-seamer is going to be about 2,400, but it has no negative effect whatsoever on his heater. You would think he would throw it slower. You would think it would have some kind of change-up action, but no.
So kind of an accidental grip that is working out. And look, things like this happen with pitchers, right? You have injuries, various things. You're tweaking, you're testing things, but interesting story on that one for Fuentes. He's falling behind Riley Green here 3-0. And he walks him on 4 straight with 2 down here in the 6th. And now Torkelson, who's sitting on that streak, I should say, with homers in 5 straight games. He's got a walk and a strikeout tonight. Popped up over toward the on-deck circle. Well, that hit off the net first, so even if Matt catches that, it's not an out.
I wonder how many people in the ballpark know that. But there was a little bit of a reaction there, like, oh, I can't believe he didn't catch it. Like you said, it would not have mattered if he caught it. And right now for Fuentes, he's got that big power fastball. I just want to make sure you're hitting your spots here against Torkelson. He's locked in. He's hit the fastball well this year. Not to say that you can't throw it, but I just want to make sure that you're putting it where you want it to be.
'97 upstairs, 2-1.
Good call right there. Go to the slider again. You got a good fastball hitter, seeing the ball really well. 2-1 slider. You could tell he got it started early, thinking about 98, 99, and he was completely fooled by that pitch. And it's a good time to call timeout and get your thoughts kind of reset.
What do you like for Fuentes here?
Listen, again, you hit your fastball location, you still can use it. Will he chase that slider again? I wouldn't mind taking a shot at it. Just be careful about going 3-2 and giving in.
Baldwin positions outside. There you go. Great sequence by Fuentes. He gets Torkelson swinging, and the Tigers are still scoreless. Great pitching from Perez, and it continues onto the bullpen and the young 20-year-old right-hander. Two-0 Atlanta, bottom of the 6th. Matt Olson to the plate as we check out our Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage on Mr. Olson. So there are only 2 players in baseball with 25 or more RBI and 25 or more runs scored. It's Olson and Baldwin.
You love to see it, right? Those stats absolutely matter. Driving them in and crossing the plate. I do wonder of the 25 for Matt Olson, how many of those were Drake Baldwin? What do you think? Probably 14 or so?
Yeah, I would say somewhere in the middle. It's been an impressive start for those 2 guys. Now the Braves are going to see another pitcher here. It is going to be Birch Smith that comes on out of the bullpen for the Tigers.
Overall numbers, just 2 games for him so far. 4 punch-outs for Birch Smith.
Just called up last week from AAA.
It's the guy that sits 95 with the fastball, curveball, cutter, and changeup.
He's one of those guys that's been everywhere. He debuted back in 2013, didn't get back to the bigs till 2018. Time in Korea, time in Japan, and now at 36 years old, back in the bigs with the Detroit Tigers.
Well, it's the definition of a journeyman by today's standards for sure, and doing it all over the world.
And he's got a 2-2 count here on Matt Olson. Both Braves runs scored in the 3rd. Acuna brought in 1, and then Olson brought in Acuna, but he is down on strikes here. The changeup from Birch Smith gets him swinging. Braves.tv. If you don't have it, you can get it. Go to Braves.tv, live or on demand. All the games on any device. No cable or satellite required for less than 70 cents a ball game.
That guy knew you were doing that read.
He was ready. He knew when the red light is on the camera, it is my time to shine. I do love the position of that logo here in the ballpark. We got a great view of it from up here in the booth.
I agree. And he was wearing a number 99, wasn't he?
Was he? I didn't see that.
I think so. And then we got some encouraging news on number 99. Nothing definitive. You know what I'm starting to think? Oh, yeah, they got the monitor in front of them.
Oh, yeah, they can see.
That's exactly it. Like the fact that he would stand up and then do that, yeah. We got you now. We're on to your game.
Yeah, but Strider's next start is going to be with the Braves. We do know that.
That is exciting news for sure. Walt did not give a definitive day on when that was going to happen, but basically letting us know it is going to happen.
Wiley comes up to me before the game. He goes, hey, you're going to have to say something to Strider. He's upset with you. Wiley did a good acting job. Had a very serious face. I'm like, what did I say bad about Spencer Strider? And he goes, he's very offended by your lack of Star Wars knowledge.
Oh, let's go.
So, okay. It's like, okay, I can handle that one. Ozzie walks here.
Those are my favorite kind of jokes too. Like you're panicked for a little bit. Obviously Wiley did a good job of selling it. Last thing we ever want to do is upset a player. It's near impossible to do this job for a long time without that happening, but you're a little panicked, you get nervous.
I mean, you guys got to study up because you got Spencer Strider and J.R. Ritchie, who again are Star Wars nuts. So I'm just letting you guys know, you got to be careful what you say because those 2 guys will set you straight. They were answering some questions. I think May the 4th coming up, so Star Wars Day.
Wiley, I know all about Spock. I got it all down. Yeah. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you nailed it, Brandon. Back when you were shooting Womp Rats in your T-16.
Star Trek, Star Wars, both lovely.
I don't want to hear about it, man. I got in line and watched Star Wars at the movie theater. I feel like that gives me street cred.
100%. I did too.
Tell you about the other 6, but I do remember being in line in the early 80s.
Were you in costume when you were in line?
No.
All right, well, then you don't get that much respect.
See, in the 90s, I went dressed as Chewbacca. So what do I get for that, Wiley? A Kit Kat bar?
If you got photo evidence, I will give you a king size.
No, this was before cameras, not just on phones. There weren't even cameras back then. So there might, I think there was a sketch artist that drew something.
Yeah, you're talking about like Telegram era?
Yeah. Bouncer to second. There's one. And Michael, with that quad, you can tell not going 100% down the line, so it's a 4-6-3 double play. May the force be with everyone. So 2-0 as we go to the 7th. Game 1 of this 3-game set between the Braves and the Tigers. And we mentioned the pitching matchups for the next 2 days. Very intriguing. Skubal and Ritchie, Valdez and Elder.
Yeah, it's going to be some good games to watch the rest of the way. So much so that I got a little tap on the shoulder. Hey, Dad, can we go to the game tomorrow? That's a really good pitching matchup. So I'm not working. French will be in the booth, but there's a good chance I'll be here.
You're going to come? Oh, that's great.
I think there's a good chance we'll be here. I mean, it is a really good matchup to watch. Obviously, with this kid and what he did in his first one, and J.R. Ritchie, and that man right there, pretty special left arm that you get from Tarek Skubal.
You going to wear your Stetson tomorrow?
Probably not, because I have to wear it the whole game and it hurts.
Yeah. Boy, I'd love to see you down in a nice Delta Club cushy seat with that hat on, though.
Wear those boots that also hurt, and I wore once.
Did you get them just for the gala?
Yes, I bought them on the way to the gala. Apparently, you're supposed to break them in.
That's what they say.
No.
Liner to left. Yaz is there. Ben Ingram pulls him off great.
Yes.
I have put on cowboy boots several times and they weren't broken in. I just looked like a penguin walking around. I'm sure everyone's shocked by that news. Hey, stay tuned for the stretch fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. After 2 more outs, Nick and Peter in the battery.
You see how the Tigers do it, right? They don't mess around. They are very committed to what they do from the platoon standpoint. Using Colt Keat there in that spot.
And now Perez, who entered the game for Baez after he was injured, and another chance for Yastrzemski, and he passes the test once more.
Tell you what, 4 pitches, is that what it is so far this inning? Just 19 to get through an inning in 2/3, and another pinch hitter.
Hey, you got Kerry Carpenter now.
I mean, it's late, so it certainly makes some sense, but they are as committed as anybody when it comes to platoon baseball.
And it is on display here in the 7th. A.J. Hinch just trying to pull any lever that might work with his team being shut out. Only 2 hits tonight. Carpenter, 28 years old, parts of 5 big league seasons, all in Detroit. And he takes the slider low from Fuentes. This is a guy that was a 19th round pick. Not much was expected of him, but he has become one of the better major league hitters against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, same thing. Doesn't get a lot of chance against lefties. What he's done against righties so far this year, good for an 890 OPS. All 6 of his home runs against right-handed pitchers. Always sounds good on paper, but not necessarily an easy thing to do.
Yastrzemski back. This is the Mike Yastrzemski inning. He catches all 3 for a 1-2-3 7th, and he sends us to the stretch.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Nick Green alongside Peter Moylan. And Peter, the Braves have shuffled this rotation around over the past week. Martin Perez ended up starting today. He was in the bullpen on Wednesday. He was supposed to be in the rotation. Some things changed, and he didn't make that start, but he does today. I thought he did a pretty nice job of keeping them in the ballgame.
He's been bobbing and weaving around this last week, and he bobbed and weaved his way through the game today. A quick first inning, and then he started to walk a couple of guys, but I didn't mind it. Obviously, there was given up only a couple of hits towards the end of the outing. He just was able to throw his sinker and his cutter to both sides of the plate, kept these guys off balance with some soft contact, had to make a great play in the middle of it, but then he mixes in that change-up to get some swing and miss. That can be middle of the plate. It doesn't seem to matter, but it just looks so good to these guys. And again, he was able to pitch himself out of some massive innings, some big punch-outs in the second, third, and fourth. So great job again by Martin Perez.
Yeah, I don't think you love the walks, but he didn't give in, and I think that was important for him tonight as well. We'll see if the Braves can add some runs on here. They're up 2-0 right now as we head to the bottom of the seventh. Let's get you back to Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
Braves with a late lead yet again here in the series opener against the Tigers. We mentioned Spencer Strider making his next start with the Braves. Don't know when. Also good news on Raisel Iglesias. He's feeling better. He could be ready to come off the injured list soon after he's eligible. That's the news on the pitching front. On the position player front, Ha-Seong Kim was scheduled to begin his rehab assignment tonight with the Columbus Clingstones in AA, but that game was rained out, so hopefully he will get it started tomorrow. And then Sean Murphy has checked all of the boxes defensively, guys, as he continues to rehab with the Gwinnett Stripers. The biggest thing for him, according to manager Walt Weiss, is getting more at-bats, a little more volume on the offensive side of things. He went 1 for 4 tonight with a double, but they could reevaluate where his bat is about 4 to 5 days. So Sean could be coming back pretty soon.
Makes for a very interesting road trip, right? And thinking about, as we already talked about with Spencer Strider, now here potentially with Sean Murphy as well. Sounds like Ha-Seong Kim will need a couple of weeks of those at bats, but again, on paper, it looks like this team has the opportunity to only get stronger.
And it is going to be a long road trip after this series with the Tigers. Longest one of the season. Wake up, Spence. To Colorado, then Seattle, and then the Dodgers in LA. The two teams with the best records in baseball right now. Braves and Dodgers both 20-9. Challenge from Riley here.
That first one of the year, right?
Yes. He's been hesitant, but he pulls the string here. And he's 0 for 1. It is a strike at the top of the zone.
Atlanta has 0 challenges remaining.
So the Braves out of them now. And understandable on Kim, because for him it's basically spring training, so it's going to take him a couple of weeks to ramp up.
Yep, absolutely. Want to see how comfortable he is. You know, it was difficult for him, right, coming back, signing the 1-year deal, and then unfortunately slipping on some ice in Korea. Some bad luck.
Yeah, injured that finger pretty good. 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Smith takes care of Riley, 1 away. Here is a word now from Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
Looks like some chilly nights in Denver, by the way, for the 3 games there to start the road trip.
Yeah, we got a lot to fit into one suitcase.
We will not go with 10 quarter zips on the road trip. We're going to pare it down to 5 and double up.
Because you figure Seattle's going to be chilly, kind of an automatic, right, without even looking at the weather.
And the nights in LA always cool. The 3 of the games afternoon games. All of the getaway days are afternoon starts in Colorado, in Seattle, and in LA.
That helps a little bit.
One, 2 fouled into the mitt. Back-to-back strikeouts here to start the bottom of the 7th.
Tell you what, for a guy who's kind of been up and down and all over the world, as we talked about, Bert Smith looks pretty good here tonight. Fastball is playing well, and a good-looking changeup that he struck out Matt Olson on earlier.
We talked about his journey and being all over the place. He didn't pitch in the majors last year. He was in AAA with the Pirates, got released when he had an ERA over 7. But he pitched in the Dominican League and had a really good winter. So the Tigers brought him on for spring training, and he pitched well enough to make the roster. and pitching pretty well so far tonight.
That's smart of him to do that, right? Coming off a bad year, as you mentioned, you get released, 35 years old, go down to the Dominican, and he pitched really well in those 18 games, had an ERA that was under 2. It is competitive there. And it's not just like you're going down and they're letting you throw. Look, you got to pitch well. You got to win there. There's a lot of pressure in winter ball, and he delivered. And so far, so good in a Tiger uniform.
He's got a chance to strike out the side here. Line drive. It is fair. Dubon the other way. He's going to go for second. And the throw is slow and off target from Perez. It is a double for Dubon. So the Braves have 4 hits. All of them are doubles tonight.
And you love seeing the aggressiveness. First of all, again, as we mentioned this with Dubon earlier, opposite field, it gets a pretty good looking curveball. The location not bad at all. And with 2 outs, go ahead and take the chance here. The Tigers' outfield arms are not particularly strong. Just 1 outfield assist all year long so far. So Dubon recognizes that and takes the extra base, gets himself into scoring position.
So the Tigers with just the 2 hits. The Braves now 4 hits, as I said, all of them doubles. Well, if that holds, CJ, that'll get your research bone going, right?
100% of the hits doubles. Yeah, it's a fun one. I'm gonna have to ask somebody for help on that, though. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. I might be able to get this one on my own.
Dun, 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 dun.
It'll take a little while,
dun,
but.
dun, 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 dun. Two of those doubles came in the 3rd when the Braves scored the only 2 runs of the ball game. Yaz had one of them. There's the Braves' first single of the game, and it's going to produce the Braves' 3rd run of the night. 3-0 Atlanta. Mike Yastrzemski coming through on a Tuesday night.
Good night at the plate, and good to see for Yaz. He gets a cutter. Looked like they wanted it backdoor. Instead, it ends up inner 3rd, keeps the hands in. Nice line drive to right field. Important for Yaz. He's had a little bit of an issue getting the baseball in the air here early on. He had that line drive double in his first at-bat. Now a line drive single here to drive in that 3rd run.
That prompts a visit from 6-year pitching coach Chris Fetter.
Jazz on that cutter. You can see the glove of Dingler coming across, and easy base running for Mauricio Dubon. But go back to his at-bat and the aggressiveness we talked about with his base running, right? If he doesn't take second there, he's certainly not scoring on that base hit. That's why the little things matter when it comes to base running.
Seventh inning is the inning of Yaz. He caught all 3 balls in the outfield in the top of the 7th. Drives in the run in the bottom half. And now Acuna, who has 2 of those 4 doubles tonight for the Braves. Oh, and 2.
All right, I got the answer to the last time the Braves had only doubles for hits.
Oh, I got it too, Wiley, and I did it on my own. I didn't ask anybody like you did, probably.
Wow. Why do you think I asked somebody?
I don't know. It just makes me feel better.
All right, well, let's see. Do we got the same thing? June 2011?
No.
Ooh,
interesting.
I love controversy. Hold on. This is a great cliffhanger. Folks, come back. Who is going to win the reveal in the 8th inning tonight at Truist Park?
Oh, my goodness. Let's get it on.
Sure have. Playing country roads here. Mark Bowman, music to his ears. 3-0 on to the 8th. Our Whataburger What a Play Talked a lot about the Braves bullpen. Didier Fuentes, a couple of great innings, and now it's on to Tyler Kinley.
That's been a great start to this bullpen, and this was by design, right? As far as the offseason goes, the Atlanta Braves did an excellent job building this bullpen, and also so that they can sustain times like this, which is Raisel Iglesias on the IL. So Tyler Kinley now coming on, been a good start to his Braves career going back to last year, and my guess is that we'll see Robert Suarez closing things up.
Kinley has a 3-run cushion. He faces 2, 3, 4 in the order, starting with Gleyber Torres. All right, so Wiley and CJ were both right in a way.
Well, I mean, you got to listen.
CJ was more correct.
I was listening more than clearly why.
Well, there's a lot going on down here that you guys wouldn't know anything about.
I would like to know more about that, Wiley.
So the assumption was, and maybe you didn't say it, I just assumed, of course, that a game in which the Braves won where they only hit doubles. Wiley said, oh, I didn't know you meant game that the Braves won. Well, sure, they've probably lost a pretty good amount of games without hitting a single or triple or homer, I would guess. Including one that I saw when they had a perfect game against them in 2004. Randy Johnson was here. No doubles in that game, but nothing else either.
So the last time, Wiley, you said the Braves lost a game with only doubles was 2011.
Correct. I mean, not counting no hitters.
No hitter. Right. Where there was at least one or more doubles.
Correct. Let's talk about bad news. Let's talk about the good news, which is the last time the Braves won a game with only doubles, they had 9 doubles in a game in 1998 when they beat the San Francisco Giants 8-4. It's only the second time in Braves history since 1901 that happened.
Little cue ball shot over to Olsen. Kinley covers. Good start to the 8th.
The Milwaukee Braves also won a game 1-0 in 1959 with just 1 double.
Well, I think we can all sleep better tonight.
Well, I got one more addition.
Oh,
okay.
Do you know who had the first double in that 1998 game?
Let me guess. So I'll say Andrew Jones.
Hold on, I want to make a guess. I mean, it's an easy answer to say Chipper. I'll go Chipper.
It's actually Walt Weiss.
Let's go, Wiley. That is a nice piece of information.
I love that.
I'm going to hand over my crown and make you the winner of this conversation. That's a good tidbit.
I think this is the first time I've been the conversation winner in the couple years I've been doing this, so I'm excited about
Think about this. You've been a dance winner this week. Now you're a conversation winner. I mean, no more room in that trophy shelf for Wiley.
They've already had a couple of injuries tonight. Last thing they would need is McGonigal to go down, but hopefully he can walk this one off.
So clearly Tyler Kinley in this situation, no Dylan Lee, no Raisel Iglesias is your setup man. Suarez, we would expect, if everything holds, to throw the 9th. The only thing I had wondered for Walt is that with Fuentes here, and he's here for the 3 days, would you try to push one more inning, knowing that he's probably burned the rest of the other 2 days, right? Assuming that Dylan Lee's going to be back by the time we get on this road trip. But wanted to kind of keep things in line like they usually do and let Kinley have the 8th inning.
There's Raisel Iglesias. As we talked about, he has resumed throwing, so it shouldn't be too much longer before his return from the IL. They checked on McGonigal. He said he's okay. And if you were with us in the pregame, Nick and Pete were talking about the bullpen and the fact that Ronaldo Lopez is also down there now. So a lot of shuffling, a lot of moving parts right now in that pen for Atlanta. You got Carlos Carrasco currently there as well. Challenge. Detroit has both.
Batter is challenging the strike call.
This will be really close, and this is that pitch that we've talked about. The breaking ball looks like it falls just below the zone, and it did. Looks good on TV. Ends up being
Ball's overturned. Detroit has 2 remaining.
At home plate umpire tonight, Alan Porter. He worked Game 5 of the ALDS last year. Tigers, Mariners, that went 15 innings. That marathon 5-hour game that ultimately moved the Mariners on and ended the Tigers season.
Oh,
and is there going to be another one?
Oh, that one. I think that one was further down, and it's like pressure luck. Could you really get it twice in a row?
Yeah, he thought about it. It was a little further down.
I don't know what the rule is as far as the flinch goes. You got to have contact with the helmet.
Yes. You have to. I do know the hand actually has to physically contact.
He got pretty close.
Another one strange off the bat. Riley bare hands.
Wow.
Safe. Still an excellent effort. Now does Walt Weiss want to have another peek?
This kid can run. We know that. He's coming out of the left-handed hitter batter's box. They're not going to challenge it. That was everything Austin Riley had. There wasn't anything else he could do. Bare hands it cleanly, makes a really nice throw on the run. You're going to get the big stretch from Matt Olson, and McGonigal just barely beats it.
Yeah, got it by a half step. So 1 on, 1 out. That's just the 3rd hit tonight for the Tigers. And here's Matt Vierling. Vierling had an injury-riddled campaign last year, only 31 games. Rotator cuff issue, an oblique injury in August that put him down for the rest of the season. Hitting cleanup tonight and fouling away the slider. 0-2. A Bummer is throwing right now for Atlanta if he's needed.
Yeah, I think probably for Riley Green, right, just kind of getting going here with a runner on and just the 1 out. Green is in the hole, a couple of batters away.
Slider and a dandy there from Kenley. Vierling went fishing. 2 down.
Calling card here for Tyler Kinley. Get ahead, use that really good slider. The thing just spins and goes straight down. And once again, well executed. There's almost no horizontal movement on that slider. That is special.
Now Dylan Dingler, the catcher. Braves pitching has held the Tigers 0 for 10 tonight when they've had a man on. Now they did have a few walks and 3 hits. Haven't been able to advance anybody really tonight. Perez went 5. Didier Fuentes the 6th and the 7th, and now Kenley here in the 8th. Holton down there for the Detroit Tigers. Yaz will have to go a long way to get this. It's fair. Into the corner. They're going to hold the runner McGonigal at 3rd. So it's a double for Dingler. And Detroit with their best scoring opportunity tonight.
This is interesting now, too, because we saw Aaron Bummer warming up. But you take a look at this slider here. Not a bad one. Down in the zone there. And the only reason I say that is because Riley Green has been good against left-handed pitchers this year. He's hitting .348. The OPS is over 1,000. I think they're going to let Tyler Kinley stay in this one, and it does appear to be the case.
Yep, Walt Weiss stays in the dugout. Riley Green 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Way high and outside. And Riley Green is dangerous. Last year led the Tigers with 36 homers, 111 driven in. A little bit of a slower start this year, but this guy can hit. Kinley, 1 ball, 1 strike, 1-2. A slider, a swing and a miss.
This is where that lack of horizontal really plays in his favor, right? You get a slider that's going straight down, almost plays like a split or a changeup to a left-handed hitter.
Crowd behind Tyler Kinley. 2 in scoring position, 2 down, 1-2 pitch.
Oh, no challenges left.
Yeah, nothing left for the Braves. That might have clipped the corner.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's where that philosophy of how do you best use the ABS system, should you always save one for a pitcher late.
See how it plays out. Deuce is wild. 2-2 now with 2 away. A strikeout for the moment. They're going to challenge it.
Batter is challenging the strike.
How does he not call the one before, but calls that one? This one did look like it might have just been off. No, let's go.
Ball confirmed. Detroit has 1 challenge remaining.
It just clips the zone, and Kinley gets the strikeout, and it's still 3-0.
Good looking backdoor slider here from Tyler Kinley. Strike 4. You're out.
Kinley able to get the key strikeout. Still 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. All right, so the Tigers and Braves are next telecast tomorrow. Skubal and Richie, that's going to be a fun matchup. We'll go on the air on Braves Vision at 6:30. That leads us to our Yellowwood Bringing the Lumber feature. The last time that Skubal faced the Braves wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago here at Truist Park. Sean Murphy and Ramon Laureano took him deep, and the Braves handed him a loss.
Yeah, knocked him out. You can see just 4 innings, 5 runs there. He did have 7 strikeouts. And what's interesting, too, about the matchup tomorrow, J.R. Ritchie got the Washington Nationals, and you might think, it's the Washington Nationals. They're one of the better hitting teams in baseball. First pitch he throws, he gives up a homer, and then he cruises, does a nice job, right? 2 solo home runs. And while he's facing a tougher pitcher, and it's not a knock on the Tigers, it's a decent lineup, but probably not as strong, at least not as deep, as you get with the Nats.
No one's going to get to this off the bat of Baldwin.
They're all big league lineups. You don't take anybody lightly, but that was a really strong first test. He had a day game in D.C. and passed it with flying colors.
Yeah, that tough start where James Wood hit the first pitch he threw over the right center field wall, but credit Ritchie. He settled in and really threw a gem. And his second big league start tomorrow here on Braves Vision. Tyler Horton, the lefty, 4th season in Detroit and his 13th time out there this season. Similar, but this one's playable. And caught in foul ground by Keith.
Can we talk about Chopper for a minute? My favorite thing that happened on an off day yesterday.
Oh, my hamster?
Yeah, it was the news that this woman sent us a cool picture of her dog, Chopper, who was in his own little quote-unquote chop house, and she had tagged you and I in it. And then you mentioned that you had a pet Chopper when you were a youngster, and shared more details, and it kind of just started a parade of childhood trauma hamster memories for a lot of people, myself included. But you had a hamster named Chopper.
That thread took a turn. I wanted to make it positive. As I went back and read it, it was pretty morbid, but I did have a hamster, Chopper. So got Chopper when I was 12. It was 1995. Chipper Jones was a rookie. I wanted to call it Chipper. My dad said, how about Chopper for the tomahawk chop? All right, let's do Chopper. Chopper got loose from the cage, and the dog Tassie, little Lhasa Apso, so not one that's known to go after rodents, but any dog will. And Tassie got a hold of Chopper, and that was the end of Chopper.
Never got free again.
But what I was telling the person who sent us that cute picture of their dog, hold that thought. Fair. Olsen drove in a run in the 3rd. He's looking for a double here in the 8th, and he's got it. So the doubles parade continues tonight for the Atlanta Braves.
And rewarding here for Matt Olson, left on left, a sweeper that he got from Holton. Not a bad one, right? Down and away, but he stays on it long enough. Look at watch the chin touch the left shoulder here for Matt Olson. That is staying down against the lefty, not pulling off, working hard to do it, and now being rewarded with that double.
That is in honor of Chopper. 13th double for Matt, and that's the 5th double tonight for the Braves. So 6 hits, 5 doubles for Atlanta. Ozzie puts a charge into this to left, and it is in the bullpen. Ozzie providing insurance on this Tuesday night. Of the season for Ozzie, 5-0 Atlanta.
No doubt Chopper's smiling down on the boys right now. He hadn't been talked about in a long time.
And the hits just keep on coming. Harris up the middle on the first pitch he sees. Let's go back to that Ozzie homer, partner.
Talk so much about what he's done against lefties. How about the changeup? Good look at it. You can see the side spin, but the location, no. That is elevated. That is in the middle of the plate for Ozzie Albies as he goes out and he hooks another one, this time into that Detroit Tigers bullpen.
And the fireworks go off here at Truist Park.
Yeah, I realized it was kind of a suppressed memory for me. I was like, oh yeah, I too had a hamster as a kid, and our cat got to it.
And you said gnawed the face off?
No, like it was, I could still see it clear as day. It was just a big chunk taken out of the side of its body. And I think it happened maybe while I was in school or something. My parents put it back in the cage, but clearly it was over. It passed. But it was still just sitting there like, I don't know what happened.
So they tried to stage the death?
I felt like it, maybe a little bit. So I was somewhat traumatized. But again, suppressed. I forgot about it until I saw your tweet. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a little bit of a hamster issue.
But the person who sent us the picture, we loved your dog. Your dog Chopper looks awesome. I just think it's my hamster reincarnated. That's all.
Kind of looked like a big hamster, that dog.
I did see somebody posted and said, my hamster died when I fed it too many Cherry's Luden's cough drops.
Nice, yeah. Well,
it's like, wow.
Those were not designed for hamsters.
No. But how many do you have to feed it? That's unfortunate. Now Riley goes after the changeup, 2 down. So Ozzie Albies came into tonight 1 hit behind Drake Baldwin for the top of the National League leaderboard. Now he has that hit via a 2-run homer here in the 8th inning to give the Braves a 5-0 lead. So as we were saying for Ozzie, it continues to be a wonderful first month plus here of 2026.
That changes some things, I think, for Walt Weiss right now in the bullpen. Looks like Aaron Bummer is throwing, and so no longer Robert Suarez to pitch the 9th inning. And anytime you give him that opportunity for a day off, hopefully Bummer can hold it down. Don't have to get Suarez up. We've seen it. They'll take it, right? We saw it was that 7 or 8 day period where both Robert Suarez and Raisel Iglesias didn't throw. So these are not guys that care about getting in there regularly. They'll save their bullets for the biggest moments.
One ball, 2 strikes to Kyle Farmer. And Farmer, who had struck out 3 times tonight, takes out some frustration and singles the other way to right field. Or 2 strikeouts for Farmer. Correction.
Kyle Farmer probably never thought he'd be getting 3 at-bats tonight, right? It was the early pinch hit. Walt went to him early once the lefty came into the game. And so a 3rd plate appearance and a nice little opposite field base hit for Farmer.
So Tyler Holton having some issues here in the 8th. Chris Fetter pays him a visit. Mauricio Dubon, who doubled and scored last inning. Everybody enjoying tonight in the 5-0 lead here at Truist Park. All of last year total, the Braves had 8 shutouts. They already have 4 this year. They're 3 outs away from getting a 5th here tonight on what is just the 30th game of the season. If they get that 5th shutout, it would tie the Yankees for the most in baseball right now. Dubon, high chopper to third. Chopper. We worked Chopper back yet. But Ozzie, 2-run homer to make it 5-0.
Rest in peace, Chopper. Nice job here by Ozzie, going big fly again. Braves up by 5. We go to the 9th.
With that man, Martin Perez, as we take a look at the defensive play of the game presented by CarShield. He was doing it also with a glove.
Yeah, did a nice job fielding his position. We talked about it at the time. You got to be a good fielder if you're going to be a sinker ball, change-up contact type of pitcher that Martin Perez is. But just overall, a great night for him, and he is in line for the 93rd win of his career. He comes in 92 and 94, so right around an even 500 and getting a little bit closer to 100 wins for Martin. It's been a great career.
Raisel Iglesias, Martin Perez have been having a long discussion over there. And it is on to, as CJ mentioned, Aaron Bummer here to try to get the final 3 outs.
In 12 games so far, good ERA here for Aaron Bummer. Heavy ground ball pitcher, good ground ball rate so far at 52% this season.
Facing 7, 8, 9 in the order. Pitch com?
It looks like it.
Reminder after the game, Mackenzie Carpenter is performing the Georgia Power Pavilion here, that acoustic set. So if you are watching in the Battery, or maybe if you're watching here on Braves TV in the stadium.
Well, which we've learned, right? Obviously, the guy that was in front of the Braves Vision sign, we're like, oh, that's amazing timing. No, he can see a monitor, and he knew he was on television, and that's why he got up.
Remember, Torkelson has that streak of hitting home runs in 5 straight games, tying a franchise record. No Tiger has ever hit a homer in 6 straight ball games. Number 1 pick back in 2020, Torkelson.
It's a fun list, right? It's about 6. It is 6 deep, including Spencer Torkelson. You have a more recent name in Marcus Timms. But Willie Horton is on that list from 1969. Hank Greenberg is on that list. Like, those are some pretty cool names. Rudy York as well on that list of 5 straight.
But I don't think Torkelson's going to get to 6. High throw, but Matt Olson able to elevate, 1 down.
A couple times that we have seen Matt Olson go up, which he does so well, but get back down in time. Backhanded play here from Austin Riley. He had time. Throw just sailed on him a little bit. It's the benefit of having a big first baseman.
Ground ball. Ozzie cannot get the diving stop, even if he knocks it down. Colt Keith is going to reach. So a single with 1 out in the 9th.
When he is right, this is the way that Aaron Bummer pitches, right? It's a couple ground balls. That one hit in a good spot, makes its way up the middle for a base hit just out of the reach. Looked like it went under the glove, or a little bit short there for Ozzie to get to.
Now Winsell Perez. A ride out to center. This one's going a long way. And the shutout is no more. Perez with a splash over the 400 sign to make it 5-2. And that'll get Robert Suarez up.
Something pretty loud off the bat here from Perez. It was the two-seam fastball at 90, but it didn't get down, right? That two-seam fastball plays best at the bottom of the zone and below it. That one right down the middle. And hit it at 105. 415 on the distance there into the recently trimmed Chattahoochee Falls.
And remember, Perez came into the game when Javi Baez got injured. Still have not received an update from the Tigers on that Baez injury. He had to be carted off with a right leg injury. Matt Olson on one bounce. He'll do it himself. 2 down here in the 9th. Let's see if Bummer can get one more out and avoid going to that man.
Even though it's a 3-run game right now, it would not be a safe situation unless somebody got on, right? You come into the middle of an inning as a reliever, and that tying run has to be on deck.
Torres, the last hope for the Tigers. There's a strike on the curveball. Atlanta got 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 7th, and the 2-run homer by Ozzie in the 8th, and that insurance is looking really good right now after that homer by Perez. Inside. Popped into the air. Olson, foul ground. Braves win. Atlanta off to its best 30-game start to a season since the year 2000. Atlanta is 21-9, best record in baseball.
Good way to start this series. We knew the pitching matchups were going to be tough ones and good ones, and so to take this first one, set the tone, get to the bullpen early. Really nice job by the offense. And then Martin Perez does it again. 5 shutout innings, only a couple of hits. He was great. Ronald was great. Double trouble all the way around. Long live Chopper.
5 doubles for the Braves, 5 runs, 5-2 win. All smiles here at Truist Park. We'll be back with more in a moment.